So I got this comment on a video from the other day, and it's the same point that keeps popping up every time a piece of content I put out there breaks through the fog that seems to completely surround Comicsgate at this point. And it goes like this. Yeah, if you guys want to start to gain any shred of credibility within the indie community, you should start by stopping with the push that Skyver was fired for his political allegiances, that he was terminated for voting for Trump. I'm just going to start it off like this. Remembering I don't speak for all of Comicsgate, but I think the way I look at it is fairly commonplace within the group. So I feel confident when I say CG has zero fucks to give when it comes to gaining credibility within the greater indie community. If you haven't noticed, for the past 5 years, we've been building our own thing over here, away from you guys. This isn't to say that we don't want anything to do with you ever. It's more like if you're going to come in here and say no one's taking you guys seriously, you don't have any credibility, we don't give a shit. We're doing our own thing over here. We've got our own fans. We're building our own platforms. And though we wish you would join us, if at the end of the day you're not interested in what we're saying or what we're doing, that's fine. We'll go on our merry way without you. So moving beyond that, the fact that you would come to my channel and talk about Ethan Van Sciver is incredibly telling. Obviously, I'm not Ethan Van Sciver. Ethan is the biggest creator in Comicsgate, but he isn't the sum totality of Comicsgate. You guys really need to evict him from your headspace because he's living there rent-free right now. Why are you bringing up events that took place over 5 years ago? We've moved on. When are you going to move on? Now you go on to say, first of all, if he was so sure that was why he was fired, he should have sued and would have won. Secondly, you're conveniently skimming over the records of him being lazy and late with his work. Malin was fired for the same reasons, lol. And didn't he tell someone on Twitter that they should off themselves? Okay, so when you work as an artist for these companies, yes, you're working for them, but you're not an employee. You are a contractor. Regular workplace protections don't necessarily apply in this situation. There is ample evidence that shows that the Whisper network that formed after the election of Trump, of editors, artists, and writers who flat out refused to work with Ethan because he was open about who he voted for, is overwhelming. If a company decides that they can't make it work, that they are not going to renew a contract, there's little to nothing Ethan can do in that situation. As for these accusations of being lazy and late, that just sounds like gossip. And being late, I'm not an expert, but I have the impression that Ethan was quite prolific with his work in DC. I can't say I know anything about Malin, other than he's told me that he was already looking for a way out by the time Jawbreakers came around. Lastly, telling someone to off themselves on Twitter, the fact that you add that in there, a story which is so well known and has been gone over so many times by now, and that's your take, just shows me the kind of person I'm dealing with here, with this comment. Someone who'll hear vaguely remembered stories from years past and then draw conclusions based on what's essentially a game of internet telephone. He goes on, you listened to crap and sucked it up into your paws. I pity the loss of the collective intelligence you three ever claimed to have. This is a common refrain that Comicsgate is a cult of personality, that we have these leaders who pass edicts down to the people, and the people just blindly and unintelligently lap up everything that they say as if they have no agency of their own. No. We heard what these guys are saying, and we agreed with them because we'd already drawn the same conclusions ourselves. That's why guys like Ethan and your boy Zach were able to build their audiences in the first place. is because they found people who were already like-minded. And now those people, those fans, had a voice advocating for them out there in the public space. Now we get to the ideological disagreement. He says, your slant on the issues of diversity within CG was painful to listen to. Two, because none of you are divested enough from your need to stay in Skyver's good graces, even though he keeps you all at a distance, just so you can get crowdfunding table scraps. I'm having trouble really understanding what the point he's trying to make here. None of you are divested enough from your need to stay in Skyver's good graces. Again, it's the same cult of personality view that they have of Comicsgate, that we're all just going along to get along, staying in the dear leader's good graces by keeping our mouth shut, I presume. And here again, he ends with another viewpoint that I see cropping up in the non-Comicsgate Twitter sphere, which is that crowdfunding is somehow lesser. It's not real comic book publishing. And those who partake in it are either amateurs who wouldn't be good enough to make it with the big two, or ex-professionals who are washed up. Obviously, I completely disagree with that take. I see crowdfunding as a vital part of the future of comic book publishing. And if you want to say, a guy like me, for example, on my very first book, raising $65,000 from over 1,000 backers is table scraps, then sure, have at it. You're just making yourself look ridiculous. He goes on to say, you don't debate others who have a different point of view than you. First of all, they don't debate us. And this has been a whole big thing recently with Ethan and the quartering, and I agree with Ethan on this. We have nothing to gain from debating social justice warriors on the ins and outs of how our worldview differs from theirs. Their mind is made up, and we aren't going to change it. And further to that, like I said at the start of the video, we couldn't give two shits what you guys think of us. We have nothing to gain from debating you. We have nothing to prove. We don't need your approval. We're not looking for credibility in your eyes. You have nothing to offer us. So why would we debate you? You're still calling others weird or SJW and other names, automatically signaling that your beliefs aren't worth listening to. Yeah, you are weird. SJWs are weirdos. Obsessed with race, obsessed with identity politics, the oppression hierarchy. Every property has to tick off check boxes for all the different identity groups because representation matters more than storytelling. The only acceptable political worldview is your own. The gender swapping. The fact that by the end of 2022, it's likely that there won't be a single heterosexual character left in DC and Marvel. Yeah, you guys are weird. And no, we're not going to stop calling you SJWs. You're the ones who came up with that term. You were just too short-sighted to realize that we control this space, YouTube. And if you're as ridiculous enough to start calling yourselves something like that, you guys should have known we were going to take it, run with it, and turn it into one of the best new insults to come around in the last 10 years. A liberal says something, it's virtue signaling. One of yours speaks up, hey, we're just talking. You'll celebrate travesties like Rittenhouse's acquittal, but you won't slow down and ask out loud how we got to a trial about a boy who killed 2 people and wounded a 3rd. You glossed over the fact that an unarmed man was shot 7 times in the back by a public safety servant. I don't know what any of this has to do with my video or Comicsgate. It's probably got something to do with the fact that you weirdos have politicized absolutely everything to the point where you can't fathom that others haven't. It's a common thing now. These guys will look at Comicsgate and think, hey, that's a conservative movement. Merely because Comicsgate doesn't care whether you're left-wing, center, right-wing, whatever. In their mind, allowing conservatives to exist freely, speak their opinions openly, means that you automatically must be conservative yourself. They can't fathom a world where all political stripes and religions and worldviews can coexist in one place, be put to the side, just so that comic book fans can congregate freely and enjoy the medium and create books and read books and buy books all in one place. And it also demonstrates that guys like this, the only thing they know of Comicsgate is Ethan Van Sciver and his channel. They know nothing else about anything else happening. And sure, Ethan did celebrate Rittenhouse's acquittal. He did celebrate Trump's election openly. But they're Ethan's viewpoints. They're Ethan's beliefs. And even though Comicsgate is apolitical, we're also pro-freedom. Ethan is free to express his personal, political, religious, whatever beliefs in any way he sees fit. Now he says, you're all insulated to the point that you don't think it's necessary to become bolder and broader in thought. This isn't me saying you need to wholly believe a different ideology that you lived with. This is me saying that you're not serving yourselves well following a guy who once laughed as DC was laying off its workers, runs from responsibility, and is the weakest in your community. Well, where to start? It's very funny to me when people who espouse the exact same views of every corporation on the planet, every mainstream political party, the mainstream news, all virtue signaling, corporate dreg entertainment, coming from that position and telling others they need to become bolder and broaden their thought is pretty hilarious on the face of it. On top of that, you're taking Ethan's worldview, Ethan's political leanings, Ethan basically, and ascribing that to every single person, fan or creator in Comicsgate. We are not a hive mind. I dare you to go out and find a more diverse, both physically and intellectually, group of people creating and enjoying a more varied output of content and entertainment than Comicsgate. The fact that you appear to think Comicsgate extends no further than Jawbreakers and Cyberfrog tells me actually you're the one who needs to broaden their worldview. And again, leaning back on that same old line that everyone in Comicsgate is following one dude and that we're all mindless drones in his army. It's projection. This is how you think, not us. We're independent. We have our own minds, our own interests. And that's reflected in the kind of content that Comicsgate creates. If you were to step through the haze that's been put up around Comicsgate by your comrades, you'd see that for yourself. But clearly you won't. I give you credit for landing on this video, but that probably had more to do with YouTube algorithm than anything else. We get a PS here. Nice virtue signal on the ethnicity of the main character in Davis's book. I looked at her, I couldn't tell she was from Singapore. What was I saying about projection? You're attacking Rebecca for not looking oriental enough? And you want me to stop calling you and your ilk weirdos? Dude, give it a rest on the race stuff, on the sexuality stuff, on the gender stuff. We're trying to tell stories here. We're trying to sell books, tell stories, and have a laugh on the internet. You're the one studying the facial features and skin tone of characters to see if they qualify as ethnic enough to be considered diverse, whatever that means these days. Lastly, we were chatting about a guy called Don Draws on Twitter. He asks what his Twitter thread is and makes some pointless accusation about how we're not going to hire him. And even if we did, we wouldn't pay him much. I mean, it's projection all the way down with these guys. They don't know. but they make assumptions based on what they know about their own side of the industry. I'm sorry, you guys are the ones not hiring enough people. You guys are the ones who, when you do hire people, you don't pay them enough to live off. That's not Comicsgate. That's not us. That's you. Now, I don't know if I'm going to hire this guy. I mean, I hire one artist. That's it. But there are dozens and dozens of people making good money in Comicsgate off their art. And maybe this guy will be one of them. Maybe he won't. If he does get hired, I'll tell you what, it'll be based off how good he is, how well he works with others, how well he keeps his deadlines. It won't be based on whether he looks a certain way or votes a certain way or what gender he identifies as. Can you say the same thing is going on over there on your side of the fence? Anyway, that's it from me. Please subscribe, share this out, like the video, all that stuff. Thank you for the comment, whoever you are. This has been entertaining. It's a good thing that we're getting these kinds of comments. It means that YouTube is suggesting us and our content to those who reside outside the fog of misinformation that surrounds Comicsgate. But that's it from me. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye.